Broker Bulletin acknowledges the traditional custodians of all the lands across the country on which we record our podcast and pays its respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Welcome to the Broker Bulletin podcast, where better begins. Join us as we chat with brokers about what's working for them, what drives them, and the real challenges and wins that matter most right now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Broker Bulletin. I'm Alex Ventura, Head of Marketing, Asset and Commercial at LMG, and today we're talking about a very topical subject and something all brokers want to nail, and that's leads. To get brokers' insight into lead generation and lead management, it's a pleasure to be joined by Ace Shuster, Finance Broker and Director of Asset Finance Avenue. Ace, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ace number 2.
Oh, this could get very confusing. Could you just share a bit of your background and how you first started generating leads as a broker?
Yeah, definitely. So we've just ticked over 12 months as Asset Finance Avenue. Like everyone, we probably went down the usual routes. We door knocked families, friends, uncles, aunties, cousins, and anyone we possibly could. Knocked on all local businesses around the area. The problem with door knocking and trying to get referrals straight away, they're not deals today.
That's right. Takes time.
It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of nurturing. So when we sort of realized that we need the bills paid today, we went down the digital lead gen path. We kicked off our Facebook, our Instagram, our Google AdWords. Dare I say we even tapped into TikTok at one point. We found that digital lead gen was a good strategy to get some leads to work in the door today.
TikTok, that's an interesting one. Take me through how that sort of looks.
We thought about using some AI avatars and doing some lead gen with that, and it was okay. But there's a lot of people that are a lot better than us at it.
Yeah,
and we thought, you know what, we sort of have a bit of experience with Facebook and AdWords, so we'd stick to what we know.
Yeah, fair. So you've rattled off a lot of lead sources just then over the last 12 months. So when you think about your business today in terms of your lead mix, what does that look like? You know, in terms of, your digital leads, your referral based stuff, your organic, what does that sort of look like?
It's quite cyclical with the market. I mean, if we're talking on heavy commercial months, like a March and a May and a June, we're probably 70 to 80% referral base.
Yeah, wow.
From accountants, mortgage brokers, a lot of manufacturers, some retailers. The other 9 months of the year, we're probably 55% referral, 45% digital leads.
Now, you sort of mentioned like you've got all these different sort of lead sources, right? So I guess for you, like, how do you go actually about managing all these different lead sources? Say, I guess probably the biggest thing that comes to mind is like your digital sort of inquiry versus, say, a referral-based inquiry.
We treat every lead differently. We're probably a little bit different to a lot of the mass digital lead gen brokerages. We don't work on a round-robin system. We look at every single lead with its benefit and its structure and its type, and we assign a broker accordingly. We've got one broker in our team who is very, very good at consumer lending and personal loan lending. We're not going to give him a 12-ton tipper to try and work it and negotiate with that. So we're very, very, very selective of where our leads go. With our referral database and our referrers, we always like who brought the relationship in to handle the lead because they've been introduced personally. But we're also very conscious of workload. So one of our brokers in our office, if he's walked in on a Monday morning to, 6 or 7 fresh leads, we're probably going to try and help handle his referral database just in a nurturing way while he catches up. We work as a big team. We're happy to answer each other's phones. We're happy to help out where need be.
Now, we've had some pretty robust convos, you and I, over the last few months. Something that really came to mind, or something really stood out for me in the recent conversation, was the time to actually action a digital lead. And typically how that could probably, I guess the difference between that and a referral-based lead. Take me through your time frame.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of actioning those digital leads.
We don't do things perfectly. Look, in a perfect world, as soon as that lead drops in, someone's on the phone saying, hey, you've just inquired on our Facebook page or on our Google page. How can we help? We've got some pretty good automation around timeframes. So if a lead isn't contacted within 10 minutes, I actually get a ping on my phone saying this lead has dropped, has not been contacted in 10 minutes. I'll call them myself. I love writing deals.
Yep.
I'm happy to have a chat with a customer. And the reality is if someone submitted an inquiry on one of our Facebook or Google campaigns, they've submitted it on 4 others as well.
Yeah.
You can't treat a digital lead like a referral lead.
Yep.
We measure it a lot in metrics on how quickly we're taking applications, how quickly we're speaking to customers. But a new one that we hadn't really looked at before was how quickly we're submitting an application.
Really important.
We kind of thought, well, as long as we're speaking to the customer on time, we've got it. We know we've got the good rapport. We're locked in. But gee, when we looked at the ratio of speed to submission versus settlement ratios, it was out of control. So we've got a lot of flagging metrics that pop up in the CRM of, customer hasn't been contacted within 10 minutes. Deal hasn't been submitted to a lender within 48 hours. We find now that we're measuring it, we can manage it.
I think, for context, the conversation we had is that you were disappointed that with the recent batch of digital leads, average contact rate was like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you said just not good enough. And
yeah,
you said,
correct.
It's got to be around the 15 minutes. And that was so refreshing to hear.
And that's one of those things. There's so many different lead gen styles out there, and there's, pay per lead, pay per campaign. There's marketing people you can internalize. But the reality is, I don't think you can call a lead a bad lead.
Yep.
If you haven't handled the lead properly.
That's it.
The batch that you and I spoke about, I think it was about 25 or 30 leads.
Yep. When
we discussed them, I sort of said, look, we haven't had good ratios of them. And I think you're a little bit, oh, geez, what's happened? And I was pretty open. Look, we didn't get to these leads quick enough.
Yeah.
Our average time to contact was 30 minutes. Our conversions were down. And that's our blame. That's not the lead gen's fault. That's not the customer's fault. That's our fault.
Yeah.
Because there's other brokerages that they also inquired with that did contact within 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's just refreshing to sort of hear that level of accountability.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
Is, sometimes missed in the industry. Now, probably the $1 million question, or just a thing that brokers are trying to crack, is generating good quality leads, right? So from your experience, what's worked best in terms of generating quality leads? And I guess in the same sort of breadth, what hasn't worked with generating
definitely
quality leads?
There's two different leads work, right? There's the referral lead and there's the digital lead. The digital lead, what we find is the brokers that are just calling a digital lead to get a deal done, they're not converting.
Yep.
It goes back to sales 101. When they pick the phone up, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Building rapport, having that conversation for a couple of minutes, not just calling up and saying, oh, Alex, you inquired on a car. Cool. Let me take your name and number. You've got to build a rapport. People deal with people they like, know, and trust. And they don't know you because you're on the other end of a phone. So get them to like you, get them to trust you. And the crazy thing is it's the day 2 and day 3 leads that you haven't contacted or that haven't returned contact. Treat them like a day 1 lead. Maybe they were busy.
Yeah.
Maybe they got sick kids, or maybe they're sick, or they're at work. They inquired because they want help. Be the one to help them. Treat every customer like they're your last, and they'll respect that a lot.
I love that. And then, so you sort of mentioned there, right? There's sometimes where you can't get in contact with a lead. How many times do you sort of hit them up, and what sort of channels do you use to actually contact the client?
Yeah, definitely. So we A and B test all this stuff at the moment. So usually on the first day, we're 2 to 3 phone calls, 1 email, 1 text.
Perfect.
We were 5 calls, 5 texts, 5 emails. And what you think you're getting in front of a lot of people, that's the way you have to do it. But we tested it. So we're sort of 3 to 4 contacts in the first day, 3 the second day, 2, 2 and 2. And then we set up, internally we call it a breakup email. It's saying, hey, Alex, I've been trying to contact you. I'm here when you are, if you need some help.
Yeah.
But the one thing we really noticed a big difference was calling after hours and weekends.
Yeah.
Weekends was just such a huge change in our conversions.
It's just an important thing to consider, right? When you think about the typical customer, when they've got the free time, it's not in your 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, because they're at work, right? So it's the out of hours and the weekend stuff. And again, it's sort of refreshing to hear that you're willing to put in sort of the hard yards to get in contact whenever it's going to suit them.
I think COVID had a really big impact as to what's acceptable to a customer. Sort of pre-COVID, if you were on the phone to a customer and you had a kid screaming in the background, you're almost seen as an amateur. But now it's acceptable. Yep. People, and one of the best times I like to try and call customers, I do the sort of the sports run on Saturday morning. And when my kids are warming up be it soccer or be it at netball, I'll put in a quick call to a couple of customers I haven't gotten hold of.
Yeah, nice.
And they'll hear the noise in the background and I'll sell it to them.
Yep.
I'll say, look, I saw your inquiry there. Forgive me, I'm just at my kids sporting, but do you have a couple of minutes to talk now? It's an icebreaker.
They would appreciate that so much.
It builds so much rapport with them.
Like you generally care.
Correct. And look, I've got 3 kids, and if someone on the end of the line's got kids, it's an automatic icebreaker for me.
Yeah. Moving on from digital, you mentioned at the start that you got a lot of referral-based business. So I guess the question is, like, how important is referral-based business in terms of your business growth? And I guess further to that, what do you sort of do to try and, I guess, encourage that business? And I guess trying to unlock further opportunities in this space?
Yeah, definitely. We network. We network like it's out of control almost. We are between Dave, who's my partner, and I. We go to probably 4 or 5 different networking sessions a week.
Yeah, wow.
Be it like the BNI circles, be it small business networking groups. We have a bit of a KPI on it. So we have a KPI of 1 meaningful conversation a day. Now, when I say meaningful conversation, it doesn't mean you have to be in front of 45 people. It can be the accountant firm next door to us, knocking on the door. Guys, I just thought I'd come and say g'day, let you know who we are. If we're having one a day, something's got it. Something's going to drop on it. What we also do though is we actually host networking events. So once a month we host a small business networking lunch.
Nice.
We found a local restaurant to us who's, again, a small business, and we really target those sort of 1 to 2 to 3 people, local businesses that either work from home, work from a very, very small shared office, and just don't get out a lot. So we always have a bit of a guest speaker. We had a big talk on mergers and acquisitions last month. This week is AI expert for implementing AI business.
Very cool. Very topical.
And I said to her, you're not allowed to mention ChatGPT because that's not the AI that we're looking for. We're looking more of an implementation and how can it benefit your business. And we're sort of been hovering numbers. We sort of get 15, we get 20, we get 22. We're about to move venues because we got 42 last time.
That's great.
And it's intention.
Yep.
We don't host that event with the intention of getting deals. We go with the intention of connecting small businesses. And look, I think if you're giving back, you'll gain something from it.
You know what? It's just like when I hear that, I always think of the old school traditional marketing, whether it's an email or, traditional social media, where it's like a sales pitch.
Yeah.
And it's just that disconnect where you're not connecting and you're building that rapport. Whereas you've flipped it, right? Where you go, it's about creating that connection first. The sales will come after, right?
Correct. I went to an event in Brisbane CBD, and there was an account there, and he could see that I was V-lining for him. He knew what I did, I knew what he did. And I went up and said g'day and asked him a little bit about his business, and I found out he was based in Melbourne. I'm from Melbourne. And he said, you're the first finance broker I've ever met that hasn't tried to hard sell to me. He was a nice guy. And I said, don't get me wrong, when we catch up next time, I'll probably put a hard sell on. And he respected it.
It has to be real, right?
Yeah, and we do business.
Yeah.
And I think we probably had 4 or 5 coffees before I actually said, hey, look, I'd like to do some business with you.
Because you'd already built up that connection.
Correct. You can't go in for the kill.
Yeah.
People are sick of being sold to.
Now, with leads, we've talked a lot about, essentially the lead coming in, right?
Yep.
But there's a real big other opportunity there. And that's for the clients that you've already had come in and hit your CRM. So how do you go about, engaging your existing database and ensuring they turn into repeat business?
We're not a huge brokerage. We're a small office, and we rely a lot on automation. And again, you and I have had this conversation. So sort of 24 hours after anyone in the office settles a deal, they get an email from me saying, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for dealing with our team.
Yep.
We ask them to leave us a Google review.
Yep. Nice.
Social proof is big for us. We also contact them in 90 days saying, hey, I hope everything's going well with your new X, be it a truck, be it a car, be it a boat or a bike, whatever it is. 6 months down the track, we say, hey, we're just checking in. Did you know that, I can't remember what the percentage is, but of people that buy an asset will also look for an additional funding within 12 months.
Yep.
Did you want to arrange a pre-approval? One thing we do is we do 12-month check-ins.
Yep.
And it's not an email, it's not a text, it's old school, it's picking up the phone. G'day, Alex. I hope you remember me. I'm your finance broker. Mate, I just want to make sure you're still in the right loan for you. At the time it was the best loan for you, but hey, did you want us to check it out for you? Don't get me wrong, 9 times out of 10, they're still in the best loan for them. But it's that constant contact. We also send bi-monthly newsletters to our entire database. That's not just settled customers. That's the customers that we never got a hold of. That's the customers that inquired and then ghosted. The referrals that never came to. But we try and, it's not sending an email to get business. It's giving.
Yep.
We're giving them things. We did a bit of a big session with Taxashore, which are a bit of an ATO negotiation company.
Yep.
We shared some insight as to what we learnt. We offered to, if someone wanted to get in touch with Taxashore, we'd happy to introduce them.
Yep.
We are very heavy in automotive. And if we know there's a big delay coming with some cars, we're saying, hey, there's a 6-month delay on this car. So it's giving without the expectation of receiving.
Yeah. And I think that's probably where you're seeing some of the success, right? You're not thinking about it like, deal done, wipe your hands, move on to the next. It's really about
We're not transactional.
Yeah.
We're not a transactional brokerage. We're very much a relationship-based brokerage.
Yeah.
To the point where in the 3-month email that we send to customers with the check-in, we ask them for a referral. We say, hey, if you were happy the way you dealt with us, would you mind introducing us to one of your family or friends that's potentially looking at buying something?
Yeah.
You learn pretty quickly that in a small business, referrals are it's zero cost marketing.
Yep. It's a small question, right? One
Correct.
question.
Correct.
We've covered a lot of ground, but I guess, at Broker Bulletin, we're all about finding those 1% improvements that lead to big wins. So for you, what do you think? What's one small thing you do every day that has the biggest impact on your performance?
1% is interesting because 101% is equals 100%, right? And it's the key for us is consistency. It's if you do something, do it all the time.
Yep.
If we have these one meaningful conversations a week and you haven't done it Monday, you're not likely to do it Tuesday. You're not likely to do it Wednesday. By Thursday, you're thinking about what's going to happen the next Monday.
Yeah.
Everything we do is consistent. We hold each other accountable. And I drop the ball with it sometimes. I'll get to a Wednesday and I'll think, I'll worry about it tomorrow. And in the office, the team's like, no, mate, you pick up the phone and you need to have a meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
It's not so much to get a deal. Sometimes it's a check-in.
Yeah.
We're very, very close with, of course, our aggregator and our lenders. And a lot of the time we'll check in with our lenders. And sometimes lenders they only hear from you if something's wrong. So a lot of the time these conversations are saying, hey, man, just check it in.
Yeah.
Really appreciate your help with the deal you helped us with last week. I'm not calling to bust you. I'm just calling to say thank you for your help with everything.
Yeah.
But the 1%ers that we work with is just consistency.
I guess that thing, right? When you try to always think about it, you're building this routine, it forms a habit. And I think that what I love sort of hearing there is the accountability component as well, right?
It is.
Because it sort of stems from the top. So if your team see that you're doing something, then it's a lot more meaningful for them, right?
It is. But the good habits created in bad times is the way to make a business efficient.
Yeah.
Because then when it's good times, those habits they happen naturally, and good times become great times.
Gee, we covered a lot of ground there. I think for me, to wrap up, I think my biggest takeaway from today's convo is, I think just you're having sort of that different lead management for different lead sources. Like when you think about your digital leads versus referral-based business, and even just the time to contact the lead. I know I sort of mentioned it, how the biggest thing that stood out for me when we last spoke, that, for the digital stuff, you got to get on top of them, 10, 15 minutes.
You can't treat them like a referral.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
It's almost like that first in, sort of first serve, because
absolutely.
Submitted inquiries with multiple websites and brokers, and it's going to come down to whoever contacted them first. So,
but it's also whoever they trust.
Correct. Ace, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Ace.
To everyone, thanks so much for listening in. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, please email us at brokerbulletin@lmg.broker or DM us on Instagram at lmg.broker. If you like this episode, make sure you rate and follow us in your favorite pod store. Thanks again for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Broker Bulletin. We would hate for you to miss an episode. Subscribe to Broker Bulletin in your favourite podcast app. Has this episode been helpful? We'd love you to rate and review us. It'll help us deliver content that's useful to you and help others discover us. If you have great ideas for topics worth tackling or have burning questions you'd like addressed on an upcoming episode, reach out. Links in the show notes. See you next time.